Hey, welcome to Joey's Hi-Fi shop. Today we're going to be taking a look at a customer's, Jonathan Guajardo over here, Rega P3. It's got quite the story behind it. And we're going to be installing the new Rega Nd3 on this bad boy here, this little pup. So, well, you want to tell us a little bit about this turntable? I'm going to go ahead and take this lid off.
Yeah, so this is my Rega P3-24, and I got this, how many years ago now? What, 7, 8, almost
9,
10 years ago?
Probably at least.
At least 10 years ago from you, because this used to be your turntable.
Yeah, this was my personal turntable. Like, in between running hi-fi shops, I bought this green turntable, and you know what? I remember it was 2015.
2015, okay.
Because I replaced it with a Rega RP40. You remember that anniversary?
Oh yeah, I
turntable
remember that.
I got. It had some like different colored cartridge than the Rega Elias. It was an Elias 40.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like this special cartridge. So which is kind of crazy because Rega just came out with the 50th anniversary.
That's
Rega.
right.
So
yeah.
I guess it came out in 2014. Yeah, I got it around 2014, 2015.
Yeah, something like that.
Jeez, wow, time's flying.
Before that, I had just come from I had the old RP1, which I bought in like 2010 or whenever they came out.
Like that.
Something like that. And so I've been listening to that I still have that one. It plays fine in my office, you know. But when I got this, it was a huge step up. And I know it has a really cool cartridge on it that it came with. Which we're going to be replacing, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say this cartridge is 14 years old now at this point.
Well, how old's the turntable?
Yeah. I want to say I got it in 2009, 2010. I don't know if that sounds right.
Yeah,
but it may have been earlier than that. I'd have to look back. Before this, I had a blue Rega P3. Before they had switched to the DC motor. So yeah, this was definitely this was a really serious turntable when I got it. And if you want to grab that, I can show it to the camera. This is a Rega power supply. This was the original, I think, original version that they came out with. Yeah, the TTPSU is what they called it. And so the wire's attached. The newer ones have a detachable wire. Like I said, this turntable, one of the things that really stood out about its generation was the fact that it's DC motor drive. And so instead of having an AC plug that just went right into the turntable, this has a DC motor, and you either plugged in a power plug like this, but what's interesting about this particular table is that it does not have a plug-in for power, because the P3-24, this is really nerdy stuff, only came with the power supply. Like, it came like that.
Really?
Yeah. And so you can't just plug this in, whereas like on a new P3, I point over there because I usually have one over there. On the new P3, it'll have both options.
And you just plug it in like that. Yeah,
right.
Or you could. Yeah.
So this came in a lot of different colors. It came in like, I want to say blue, pink, red, black, white, and they were gloss finishes. I love these. If you ever find an era, as I call it, table, P3-24, they're really cool. They also have black ones, just a regular P3 from this era. And the other thing was that this was the first time they used a 3-point mount. So if you look at older Regas, they just mounted with a collar underneath.
Yeah.
And this uses a 3-point mounting system. It was totally different. So I can't see on this side, but it may say that it's the RB301 on that side.
It says, RB301. That's it.
So this is an RB301. So this was the first, it was a major departure for them, still using the same arm. So weirdly, you can upgrade to any arm that's out right now. Yeah, you could put any
put a new arm on this.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could put.
In theory.
Yeah, I mean, a P3 upgrade,
which
the P6 uses too, would be an RB330. You could put that. But you could, you know, be
You could do a
silly
lot
and
of
put
stuff.
a RB titanium on it from the Rega
Oh
Naya
my
that's
gosh,
coming
you
out.
could do that, yeah.
And spend like even know how much it costs, thousands of
Yeah.
dollars on it.
Just to replace the arm on the
and
P3-24.
keep the green, you know.
Well, it is Rega Racing Green.
yes.
Like Jaguar Racing
Yeah,
Green.
exactly. Well, you do have a Jag.
You have a
so,
Jaguar too.
Vanden Plus.
Vandenplas.
Yeah. Now, something that's very rare. This is only because Johnny and I have known each other so long. He too, because you know, my first video I talk about the P3 I have currently, and I show a dual laminate glass platter. I mean, Johnny's one of like probably 50 people that has this on their
Really?
P3. Oh yeah, this
I
was
never knew that.
They sold this for like just like that.
Really?
They had one set of batches come in. Was it last year or the year before?
I think
right?
it was last year. Yeah.
And they just went like that. That was it. So you can't. I mean, you can't get this today.
Well, I got one.
So I guess it's technically vintage at this point. And so you've got this cap, just like the one I have. And then I think we've upgraded your belt over time.
Yeah, the belt was originally white. I think
Yeah.
the other, and it needed a serious upgrade. So now
I think it has a reference belt on it.
I believe it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this belt's been a lot better.
So we've maintained this. You know, I've maintained it for you this whole time.
Yeah.
And we just know this cartridge is getting long in the tooth. I told him about this new Nd3, and he was just like, "All right, let's do it." So here we are. We're going to be mounting this thing today. Should be pretty straightforward. As soon as you say that, though, you know, it's never straightforward. One of the nice things about Rega is they include a Allen key. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, well, I've got an Allen key. Like, what's so special about this one? And its design is what's special, and it's not for any expensive reason. What you see here is that it's bent, right? And it's small. So most Allen keys that you get, by the way, are going to be like this long.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the reason they don't have a long extension on it is because they don't want you to over torque the screws.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
Yeah. So so that's why it's so small, is so that you don't over tighten the screws. And I've really always liked that about Rega, is that they've always included this. So Johnny already has his lift up. So what we'll do here is I'm just going to come in with these and just ever so gently.
Disconnect them.
Yep. And Johnny is over there thinking, how does Joey do that? I'm like, well, this ain't the first. This ain't the first cartridge I've changed like that. And you'll notice, like normally I would keep it like locked over here and turn it, but for optics, because we're recording, I'm not going to turn the turntable. But the other thing is you just have to be very gingerly with these things. Like, you know, when you're working on a turntable, this is one of the most delicate parts of HiFi, and definitely one of the more like consumer repairable / upgradable parts. You know, the other most delicate part of HiFi is definitely speakers, but you rarely have to, as a consumer, usually your dealer will take care of any like literal driver issues that you have with
You don't
your
usually
speakers.
tune those or replace parts in them or anything.
But your cartridges, you'll typically, especially if you don't have a dealer around you, you're gonna be watching videos like this on YouTube, going like, how did they do that?
Can I see the old resin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this cartridge is, so this is a gold ring modified Razan cartridge. It's called the Razan Rega. And you can actually pull this off, this head shell off, and you can replace these.
Wow.
It is replaceable. The cartridge itself, I do actually still sell them. I have them. They are just not super widely known about, and they're also has a special little plug that slides it in. Yeah. Here you go. You're just careful with the stylus. They're around, I think right now they're around $750. And the cartridge, just the stylus to upgrade, is around, I believe, $550. So it's a really serious cartridge, but this one has 15 years on it. If you wanted to upgrade just the stylus, you could.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take that from you.
There you go. Yeah.
And this one, we we have the estimated price on it, which I'm not going to say right now because we're recording a video, and this video goes up, and then people are like, "That's what the price is." But we have the ballpark price of it. Rega's importer is about to release the pricing, and I just don't want to say it and be wrong, and then have this video up, and then all these comments are coming in constantly, like 2 years later, being like, "Actually, actually, the price is blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh man." But it is significantly less than that Razan. And Johnny asked me, is this cartridge going to be better than the Razan? And my answer is quite possibly. I don't know. We're going to see. This cartridge should be really good. This is based all off of Rega's new moving magnet technology that they've come up with. Their shells that they had been using, their injection molded shells, plastic shells, which you've seen before. The colored ones are like yellow and blue and red. There are all these different versions. The Exact, the Elias, and the Bias. They've been using that shell since, I want to say not early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And I know for sure early 90s. And so this is the first time that they're using this. Yeah. They're using, well, basically what they're using here, this is actually their moving coil cartridges. Here, and I'll get so y'all can kind of see what it looks like. Hopefully that focuses. If not, I'll slowly pull it back. This cartridge has a 3-point mount, unlike the Razan. So the alignment is really no issue, because what we're going to do is we'll put this cartridge here.
Should I get a shot of you putting it in?
Sure, if you want.
All right.
Johnny and I actually are also colleagues, and we do media production together. So we're very geeky about documenting things, as you can tell. And so he's getting some shots of this for us too. So what you'll see is that I literally just placed the cartridge on the unimount. So the unimount is the mount in the middle. And then all we have to do now is mount the side screws. So usually, like, the hardest part of this process is this right here, putting these bolts in and putting the wiring back on. Also getting the wiring off. I made it look really simple, but it's because I've done it so many times. A lot of people will often end up breaking leads, the little leads on there. And so, like I said, you just need to, you really need to treat everything gingerly. You need to be as delicate as possible with the wiring, because it really can break easily, and replacing leads is not fun, but it's doable. It does happen. It happens to the best of us. I mean, no one's perfect, but I typically just really recommend being gingerly. The other thing is that you do have your bearings in your tone arm itself, and you don't want to put a huge amount of stress on them. So you'll see here, I'm just literally putting a little, just making them just tight enough. I'm not really pushing hard. All right, so next what we'll do is, you know what? I said I wasn't going to turn this thing, but for this I'm going to turn it. So there we go. So next, what's also nice about this setup is that it's color coded. So we can come over here, and the green actually just goes with green. Whoops. Now you'll see if you're shooting on that one, sometimes we have to tighten these just a little bit. See if that, nope, let's tighten it just a little more. You don't want to over tighten these things. That's why I'm being so gentle with this. There we go. No, not quite. Okay. So you can see if you go in there, you can see it has these two folds on it. And what you want to do is you want to just push them together, but not so much together that they bend too much. So you'll typically, I know this looks like I'm taking a long time, but it's just because I really don't want to mess these up. Like I said, they're not fun to, there we go. They're not fun to replace. They just aren't. And so when you have one that's kind of being finicky like that, a lot of times you just want to kind of just be patient. Here, let me get this one on there. There we go. All right. And then this red one, whoops, there we go. I always, whenever I do this, I wonder if I'm getting old because it's, you start looking at these things and, one thing I'm going to assert quite possibly is that these are actually smaller pins.
That makes sense.
And so I think I'm going to need to clamp all of these down just a little bit. There we go. Let's do the red one.
It's so small, even the camera's having a hard time focusing on it.
Yeah, I bet, man. It's, I don't have bifocals yet, but I'm getting up there. So most of the time, I'm sorry if this video just seems really long. I would leave this out, but with the kind of videos I make, I want people to see, like, this is a process. If you're wondering why you pay someone to do this, it's because while it is relatively easy to do, it does take some experience. Let me come from this side.
This is something that I really would not want to do myself.
Yeah, especially when you get up to like I've done this with $5,000 cartridges. And that's when it gets really interesting. Dang, I can't see in there. There we go. All right, whoops. Check this out, people. Let's see if this makes a difference. I also just don't like that, showing like the magic of editing all of a sudden makes you look like you did this perfectly. It doesn't always go perfect, but there we go. I love that. So you'll notice that I've gone from phasers to kill and brought out the tweezers. Ooh, I think this green one we're gonna redo because I was a little more aggressive with these other ones, and they're really. Hold on, sorry about ruining your shot there.
No, you got it.
But these, I really want these to go on correctly. I'm gonna get these back out. Just make sure this one is clamped down.
Is it just too wide?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, yes, that is exactly it. And so you want them kind of angled a little bit because you want them to, and what's weird is that, like, you can't, those of y'all that have done this before are looking at me like, you know what I'm talking about, but if you've never done this, you can just feel it. And so you'll see how it just slid in once it was clamped on there, right? And here we go. There we go. All right.
Hit the gun. Let me get a photo.
Yeah. Get a photo of that. And if you record real quick, I want to make a point.
Record. Okay, let me take it back. All right.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay. So the other thing, once you've connected all of these, a lot of people will go and start setting up their turntable, and they will have all kinds of problems. And what they won't anticipate is I've made sure, but one of these wires is hanging down far enough that it's lower than the stylus itself. And so when you go to like measure and do all of these things, all of a sudden you're just like, you know, the tone arm's broken, this is broken, you know, it's skipping on the as it plays, and then you look underneath and you needed to tuck your wire up. So that's another like tip and trick to often think about. So next what we'll do is we will get this, put it back on, okay? We're gonna zero this back out, okay? So we'll set, whoops, wrong way, hello. We'll zero this back out, okay? This is set to 0. It's an old school dial. And we're going to take the cartridge cover, stylus off. And what we see right now is we've got counterweight. So what we want to do is bring it in. Still got some. Bring it in. All right, now we're too high. Now we're going to actually drop the lift as well. That's another error you can make. So we're not quite floating yet, but we're close. So what we want to do is just pull back a little bit. Ooh, we're getting close.
Almost. Nope, too high.
A little too high now.
Getting very close.
There, that's... You want it to just kind of be right above the platter. And I think we're bouncing up. There we go. All right. So now we've got this set. So then with your cartridge, it'll give you your specifications. This one has a tracking pressure. You're not going to be able to read that most likely, but there's a tracking pressure number on here. It says 175. And so what we'll do is we'll come over here. We'll set this to 175, which there's a 1 and a 2, and then there's a marker in between the 1 and the 2. So we'll go to between the 2 and the what I would call 1.5 and put it at 175. So then, if we did this correctly, it should roughly already be tuned in to about 175. You ready? Not too bad.
Not close. Very close.
We're close. We're at 1.88. So there's 2 adjustments we can make. One, we can see, am I really in the middle there? Yeah, I'm in the middle there. So what that means is that we want to pull a little bit out. So let's see what that did. .73. All right, so we'll pull just touch in. 1.83. Yeah, that's
almost.
That's how this world gets when you start getting this specific. 1.88.
I went heavier.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm going to pull out a little bit. There we go. I think I went the wrong way on that one. Yeah, 1.76.
From 6. Okay, good.
7.5. All right, we're right there. It's teetering. So we'll start at 1.75, and then what you can do is you can actually over time you can adjust it and you can play with it and see where that specific locked-in sound is. But yeah, that's how you mount this cartridge. What we'll do next is the reason the turntable is not there, which is normally there, is we're gonna put this on up there, get it set up, and then maybe we'll get some of your feedback and see what you think.
See how it sounds.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it.
So thank you all so much for watching. This is how you mount a cartridge, and hopefully the B-roll that you shot we can use and put in there. It was definitely a real-time experience. Y'all getting to see me do it. And that's why, like, if you ever go to a shop and you ask them, like, hey, can I watch you mount the cartridge? I do this a lot. I teach. I'm a professor as well, and so I'm used to talking and kind of guiding people through things. But I would charge extra if I had someone that wanted to watch me mount like a $5,000 cartridge, because as you see, it went fine. But it's a little stressful, you want to make sure it goes on right. You want to make sure you do everything right, and having that, the added customer and YouTube watching you do it.
And I'm recording tiny.
And recording every single error. That's why honestly I wanted to leave it all in here, is because I wanted people to see it's not just you just unclip those things and clip the new ones in.
Well, that's just what I thought before I saw you do this. I mean, I've never changed it before, but I just want to pop the things. I'll pop. I guess you can install it if you want.
And so with practice and repetition, you can do it. I mean, it's not that. If you were like Joey, I don't think this is hard. I can do this. I would just say, buy an inexpensive cartridge. Do it.
Try it with that first.
And then, you know what? Maybe you'll become a cartridge installer and want to charge people to install their cartridges. But to me, it's very much a behind the scenes kind of thing. But if you're a consumer that likes that kind of stuff, I mean, I do. I had put my own cartridges on before I became a dealer. But most of the tricks and tips that I learned were from Mark Houston of Concert Sound, and
from Mark.
Some other people that kind of showed me the ropes, or did show me the ropes. And you got to meet Mark, and you've gotten to see him work his magic. So I wouldn't be here without them. But thank you all so much for watching. We'll probably have another clip after this to kind of show you what we think of it.
Sounds good.
To it. We'd love to be able to have y'all listen to the Arctic Monkeys with us, but unfortunately we would be flagged on YouTube or Facebook, so you get to enjoy a couple of shots, and now we'll be back with some of our thoughts. All right, so we got to take a listen. The turntable's over there set up.
That was a lot of fun.
Initial review. I mean, we're not saying we've listened for hours. We took probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And we listened to it on the Rega Ayas, and then Johnny has some really unique Takaro 40 speakers, and so we hooked those up as well, because they sound drastically different than what the Regas sound like, and so we wanted to know roughly what it's going to sound like. And I think the cartridge, one, for the money, it sounds really good. It, as of our initial listening, sounds full-bodied. It sounded like it had a good range, very musical up and down. You didn't feel like there was one emphasis too much. Now this is the Nd3. They're going to have the Nd5. Then they're going to have an Nd7. So we'll see. This is definitely like, it was a toe tapper. I mean, it was definitely one that.
It's very musical. It was a very. I thought it was very musical. I really liked hearing the. One of the things I love about the Takaros is the vocals, right? And just the clearness in the vocals, and they just sound different from other speakers, right? So I didn't. And last night I played the resin, because obviously I knew I was going to do the install today, so I listened to the resin last night with the same Arctic Monkeys AM album,
Yeah.
and I was interested to hear how how resolving it would be with the on the vocals, and it was great. Sounded really clear. I think, so in my opinion, it's a little better. It sounds a little better. And granted, I am using a 14-year-old cartridge or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the cartridge.
Still, it's a very good cartridge, and it's a step up for sure. I think it's going to upgrade the turntable a lot. And I know we also found a couple other issues on there.
We were doing some. We definitely tuned up your turntable today.
Yeah.
We cleaned his bearings and did some other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turned out pretty well, and I think the next video I'll be doing is about speakers, specifically the Rega Ayas.
Nice.
So I've been getting
cool
a lot of listening in with them. We were listening to it just now. So yeah, that'll be fun. And Johnny was asking me about subwoofers, and subwoofers are a very hard question to answer because everybody has their opinions or what they want to do with them or how they play. So I showed him the one I use, which I custom built, and it sounded pretty good.
Sounds great. Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, I don't have a sub on the Dacaras right now.
Yeah.
It's just the two, and I know it's a point of contention whether to put a sub on the Dacaras.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see, how it sounds. I have one of my surround sound system in the home theater, and that sounds. I mean, obviously that just booms because I want it's a home theater. But I may try to do some experimentation and see what I think about subs.
So cool, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing your turntable with us today.
Cool. Yeah, no.